Hi, welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, it's Christmas time. I've got my hat on, I've got my little tree, but most importantly, I've got meals for one. And in today's video, I want to compare the Christmas meal for one being offered by Waitrose against Marks and Spencer. Now, both of these come in at a similar sort of price. They look pretty similar in terms of the way that they're presented. But which one tastes better? That's the point. Now, if you're in a situation where you don't have a lot of people to share your Christmas with, but you still want to get into the festive spirit, then this sort of thing could potentially be ideal. But does it taste any good? Well, we're going to find out. So let's have a look first at the Marks and Spencer one. So this is a meal for one roast turkey. So in the picture here, it looks really quite nice, quite attractive. In the packet, not so much. Doesn't quite look the same, but I'm going to cook it and see what it's like. This ball keeps getting into my eye, so sorry about that. So in terms of the total weight here, we've got 455 grams. And as you can see, we've got some roast potatoes, 2 pigs in blankets, a small piece of stuffing, a Yorkshire pudding, turkey with gravy, and then some carrots and peas. So I'm going to cook all of this in a moment. And it takes 35 minutes to cook it at a heat of, for my fan, 160 for a fan. If you've got an electric oven, it's 180, and if it's gas, it's Mark IV. So we'll have a look at doing that in a moment. Now, let's have a look at the Waitrose one. So this is what it looks like. So this is the serving suggestion. Looks a bit more upmarket than the one from Marks and Spencer. If you compare the two photos, I think the Waitrose one looks a bit classier. Let's see what the actual food looks like. Well, it looks pretty similar to the M&S one. So once again, we've got roast potatoes, we've got Yorkshire pudding, and we've got a small piece of stuffing. We've only got 1 pig in blanket here, so not even pigs in blanket. We've then got some carrots and peas, and then the turkey in the gravy. Now, interestingly, the Waitrose one, you cook that at 180 degrees fan, 200 degrees in a conventional electric, and gas mark 6. So slightly higher heat, and it's only for 25 minutes. So this one cooks quicker than this one. So what I'm going to do is put them both in at the same time, and then the Waitrose one will be ready 10 minutes earlier, so I'll be able to eat that one, and then I can have the M&S one straight afterwards and see what it's like. So let's get these things out. Now, the way it works, you have to get your baking tray. I've got my oven already on. So you take out, you open the section with the roast potatoes and the Yorkshire pudding and the pigs in blanket and the stuffing, but they have to go to one side. So I'm going to get a plate and put those items on it here because they cook much quicker. The roast potatoes take a long time to cook. So you have to put these in first. So I've only got 3 pretty small roast potatoes, but I guess it's just a meal for one. Let me just check how to do this again. So it says, remove the sleeve and spread the potatoes on a baking tray. Bake for 15 minutes, and then after 15 minutes, I add the stuffing, the Yorkshire pudding, and I just add the stuffing and the pigs in blankets, and then the Yorkshire pudding goes in when there's only 5 minutes to go. So I'm not adding anything else apart from the potatoes. So I'm going to put the potatoes in the oven in a moment, but I'm just going to get the Waitrose one set up as well. So I've got a separate baking tray for this. The Waitrose instructions say preheat the oven and then remove the film lid for the same section, the Yorkshire puddings and potatoes. Let's get my plate because they have to go to one side. Now they're all tucked away in one nice little compartment, so I'll put that there. Now I've got a lot more potatoes here. You can see they're smaller, much smaller than the ones that I had, but there's a lot more of them. So I'm actually getting quite a good filling of potatoes here. I'm quite excited by the number of potatoes. If I compare the two, that looks like my sort of portion of potatoes. Just to remind you what we got on the M&S one, it was just those 3 little potatoes. So far, the Waitrose one looks better because I've got more potatoes. Now let me just check how to cook this again. So it says set aside Yorkshire pudding and pig in blanket and stuffing and place the potatoes on a baking tray. Pierce film lid in several places over the compartments containing the vegetables and the meat. Place container onto the baking tray with the potatoes in the centre of the oven and heat for 10 minutes. So this is going in straight away. Now, just need to pierce this. Okay, so this is going straight in. That's all that's going in for the Marks & Spencer one. So let me put these in the oven. I'll see you in a moment. Now, while we're waiting for the first round of cooking to complete, I thought we'd talk about the price of these two items. So interestingly, the Waitrose one comes in at £6, which I think is a reasonable price for this sort of ready meal. So I'm quite happy with that price. Now, the Marks & Spencer one, on the internet, it says that it costs £6.50. But when I went to my local Marks & Spencer, it was £6.75. That's what's on this receipt. So the Marks & Spencer one is more than 10% more expensive than the Waitrose one. So let's see which one tastes better, because at the moment, they're coming in pretty much the same weight in terms of one's 450, the Marks & Spencer one's 455 grams, the Waitrose one's 450, so pretty much identical. If you're worried about sort of health conscious issues, now I tend to have a look at fat content on things. So the Waitrose one has fat content total of 14.7 grams. The M&S one has total fat of 15.9, so more fat in the M&S one. And in terms of salt, there's 2.35 grams in the Waitrose one and 3.09 grams in the Marks & Spencer one. So at face value, it's less healthy, the Marks & Spencer one. Maybe that means it will taste better. I know a lot of people prefer to have full fat and full salt to get the full flavour. But let's see. But as it stands at the moment, the Waitrose one looks like a better deal, but does it taste better? Okay, so fresh out of the oven after 10 minutes. This is what the Waitrose cooking looks like at this stage. So the potatoes are actually starting to brown up, so I'll move them all together to make room for the other things. So I've got my stuffing bowl, quite small, but I guess it's just a meal for one. I've got, sorry, I'm on the wrong one. I'm putting the stuff from the M&S one. I don't want to start contagion. So here we go. This is the one from Waitrose. I've got my Yorkshire pudding, stuffing bowl, similar size, and I've only got one pig in blanket. So it's not pigs in blanket, it's pig in blanket, this one. So I put them on, and then this goes back in the oven for another 15 minutes. So I'll pop this in, and then it'll be ready to eat. So I'll see you in a moment. Right, 15 minutes have elapsed since I put these 3 small roast potatoes in the oven for the Marks & Spencer Christmas lunch. So what I need to do now is we add the main ingredient, the turkey. So I have to pierce this, and also the carrot and peas. So that goes in now for 15 minutes. Move these potatoes, and I'm adding the stuffing bowl and the pigs in blanket. The Yorkshire pudding doesn't go in until 5 minutes to go. So this goes back in for another 15 minutes. So comparing the two, the Marks & Spencer one is a bit more hassle because you've got to do 3 different stages. The first bit is the roast potatoes, second bit is these things, and then you've got to remember to put the Yorkshire pudding in at the end. So I'll put this back in for another 15 minutes, and then it's 5 minutes for the Yorkshire. So put that in now, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, after 25 minutes in the oven, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to put all of this onto a plate now. So get these roast potatoes off. I mean, they are quite crispy. You can hear, I think, from the way they're landing on the plate, they are pretty crispy, maybe a bit hard, but let's put that on one side. We've got the Yorkshire pudding here. It feels quite hard. I've got 1 pig in blanket. I'll put that on there. Got my ball of stuffing. And then I have got the main course ingredients. So just peel back this film and use my spoon to get this is what it looks like. Just fresh out the oven. You can still see all the steam coming off it. Get this veg out. Not sure what veg is like cooked in the oven. I wouldn't normally cook carrots and peas in the oven, but I guess this is sort of ready meal for one. It's been pre-cooked or something's been done to it so that it can cook in the oven. So the peas are looking a bit dry, but we'll see what they taste like in a moment. And then the main ingredient, the turkey and the gravy. So I'll just lift that turkey out, put that there, and then I can put some of the gravy on all of the other things, because obviously I want some gravy on my roast potatoes and on my Yorkshire pudding and also on the vegetables. So I'll make sure I get all of it out because I want my full money's worth. Make sure I get every single bit of gravy out of there, and there's a couple of bits of extra peas. Okay, let's get rid of that. And spoon. So here, this ball's getting really annoying. Here is my Christmas lunch from Waitrose. So it looks pretty decent, steaming hot, quite a lot of roast potatoes, Yorkshire pudding, a little bit of stuffing. I like a bit more stuffing than that. The sausage looks a little bit overdone, and the turkey. So let's see, let's get rid of this silly glove. Let's see what it tastes like, because obviously that's the most important thing here. Let me just get rid of that ball, that's really getting annoying. Okay, so let's get some of this turkey. Now, my first impression of this turkey, it's obviously been pre-sliced, so it's mechanically sliced, I think, so it's not uneven like you would get in a normal Christmas dinner if you were carving the turkey yourself. Let's see what it tastes like. It tastes a little bit processed, so it tastes a little bit like turkey that you would get in a sandwich, where it doesn't taste like fresh turkey off the bone. Let me have a bit more. It's got that sort of slightly sticky feel to it when you're biting through it. It's almost sticking to your teeth. But I guess normal turkey is like that as well. It's quite succulent. It's not dry, which is an issue that you have with turkey quite a lot of the time. Let's see what the pig in blanket is like, because when I think about Christmas, pigs in blanket, you only have them at Christmas time. So it's a sort of Christmas treat that you don't have any other time of the year. Let's see what this one is like. It's okay. It's not the best sausage that I've ever had. The bacon doesn't really have a great deal of flavour. I would have liked it to be a bit punchier. That's something that you could quite easily make nice, but it's okay. It's not a bit lackluster really, but I don't know. It's let's see what the vegetables are like. The carrots are quite soft. They're not bad actually. They're the best bit so far. No, carrots are pretty good. The peas, I mean, just pull a few peas onto this fork. The peas are a little bit tasteless. Not the best peas I've ever had. Okay, let's have one of these roast potatoes. Get a bit of gravy on there. See what it's like. It's a bit dry and a little bit tasteless, so not crispy. If you're doing fresh roast potatoes, if you just cook them in the oven, you'd expect them to have a hard outer coating. These don't really, and they are a bit dry. So without the gravy, I don't think you'd want to eat them. With the gravy, still a bit dry. Try this Yorkshire pudding. It looks quite hard. So if you've had Yorkshire pudding, you'll know that if you get it fresh, if you just cooked it, it'll be lovely and soft, and the dough sort of just goes into that nice, it absorbs all of the gravy. This, a bit dry. Quite crispy. So I think Yorkshire pudding's probably, Yorkshire pudding and carrots are the best part. Turkey, we have another bit of that turkey just to see what it's like. All right. The turkey tastes a bit weird. I don't really like that. It should be the hero of the dish, the turkey. It's not. It's not very nice. I don't really like it. Let's see what this stuffing is like. Let's have the rest of that stuffing. It doesn't really taste of a great deal, the stuffing. My beeper's going, so I've got to put, let me just put this Yorkshire pudding in the oven for the Marks and Spencer version. There's another 5 minutes to go for this guy. Right, that Yorkshire pudding is in now, so it's 5 minutes, 5-minute warning until the Marks and Spencer Christmas lunch is ready. So back to the Waitrose one. This was cheaper, it was lower cost, but not that impressed with it really. I don't think I would want to eat all of this turkey. Have another little bit. No, the turkey tastes not good. It's really rubbery and sort of sticks into your teeth. Tastes very processed. Got a sort of slightly weird aftertaste. Not nice. These roast potatoes, dry. The sort of ones, if you've overcooked your roast potatoes ever, that's what they taste like. You can see. There's one here that's brown and hard, and yeah, I'm not going to eat that. But they're all lacking in filling. So a good roast potato would have a nice, soft, fluffy interior, so it'd be crispy on the outside, and then when you cut through it, it'd be that lovely white, soft potato inside. You don't get that. You've basically got not very hard on the outside, and then inside is just a bit soggy and a bit not very nice. Peas aren't very good. The carrots are okay. Yeah, the carrots are okay. The Yorkshire pudding, marginal. It's a bit crispy now. I think overall there's not enough gravy here. If I was having a Christmas lunch, I like to have a lot of gravy to make sure, because the gravy compensates for everything. If you get decent gravy, you can just put it all over everything, have your plate swimming in gravy, and that sort of compensates for tasteless potatoes and not very nice peas and Yorkshire pudding that's a bit hard. The Yorkshire pudding's okay. Overall, I would say this is okay. It's not great. I don't think I would want to serve this for myself on Christmas Day. So let's see whether the Marks and Spencer one can save the day by being better than the Waitrose one. Okay, so here is the Marks and Spencer one hot out of the oven. So I'm going to decant all of this onto the plate. Now, in terms of roast potatoes, there's only 3 of them. Let's hope that they are nice, because I've only got 3. Then got 2 pigs in blankets, so double down compared to the Waitrose one, my Yorkshire pudding, and then let's see what we've got inside here for the heroes. Get the vegetables out first. Whoa, I've knocked my little tree over. I'll put that tree back, because that's all part of my Christmas decorations. Okay, to get these vegetables out. Now these peas look way better than what we've just had. They're actually nice and round and shiny. They're not sticking to the bottom of this dish, so that looks promising. And the turkey in here, there's a lot more gravy. Well, the gravy's certainly wetter and running a bit better. So let me just get the turkey out. It looks better than what we had from Waitrose. It's in nicer pieces, and I'll just get this gravy, put it over some of the Yorkshire pudding, just put the gravy over all the different parts of this. The gravy smells a lot nicer as well. It actually smells like real gravy, like your grandma used to make. My grandma used to make anyway. She used to make it from the juices from all of the meat. So it smells like that. Let's see whether it tastes like that. So this is what this meal looks like, first impressions. I would say it looks better than the Waitrose one. It presents better. The fact that there's only 3 roast potatoes, I'm hoping that they're going to be more like real roast potatoes and be sort of nice and soft inside. The peas definitely look better. The turkey looks better. I've got 2 pigs in blanket, and this Yorkshire pudding also looks better. Let's get rid of this glove and see what this tastes like. I'll start with the turkey, as that's what I did with the first one. So let's see if it has the same weird flavour. Well, it's definitely better than the Waitrose turkey. It's still not like really fresh sliced turkey. Still has that sandwich turkey sort of consistency where it's been very thinly sliced. Still sticks to your teeth a little bit. It's nowhere near as rubbery as the Waitrose one. It's not the best. It's okay. We put plenty of gravy on it. It's better, but It's not the best. I'm not waiting all year to eat that. Let's see what this roast potato is like. Certainly looks a lot better. It's bigger and it looks white and fluffy on the inside. Let me put some of this gravy on it. So that's what I would normally do. Better than the Waitrose one, but still, as roast potatoes go, not ideal. It's not crispy on the outside. It hasn't been sort of that nice crisp shell that you want from a real roast potato. And although it does look white on the inside, hold on a second, I've got to let the dog out. Get out. Okay, sorry about that. I had to let the dog out, who started to bark because you aren't getting any of the food. But yeah, the roast potato basically looks like a roast potato, doesn't taste as good as a real roast potato, but you know, it is a ready meal for one, I suppose. Let's see what this pigs in blanket is like. I put in a bit of the gravy, see if it's as good as the Waitrose one. That's much nicer than the Waitrose one. So the bacon's actually got some flavour. The sausage feels like a premium sausage. It's okay. It's not the best pigs in blanket I've ever had. It doesn't taste like some of the real gourmet ones you get, but it was all right. Let's see what this stuffing is like. Again, I'll roll it in the gravy. See what we've got. Stuffing's not my favourite. That's poor, not nice. One of the best parts about having a roast dinner, particularly on Christmas Day, is to have all of your favourite things. And I really like stuffing because I don't eat it at any other sort of meal. That's just a bit tasteless, a bit stodgy, not very nice. See what this Yorkshire pudding is like. It looks good. Get a bit of gravy on that. It's a bit soggy and tasteless. Not that great. A bit more gravy. Yeah. Yorkshire pudding's disappointing. Certainly these carrots are like. They look good. They're quite firm. They stay on the fork nicely. Yeah, the carrots are good. Carrots are nice. They're all right. I mean, they're not like fresh carrots if you just cook them yourself, because obviously they taste a lot fresher. They're not al dente. They're a bit soft, but they're more al dente than the Waitrose one. Let's see what these peas are like. They look good. The peas are a lot better than the Waitrose one. They're okay. They taste like frozen peas. So if you've ever cooked frozen peas, you know, you put them in, take about 5 minutes to cook. They don't have a massive amount of flavour. They're not the same as other, you know, if you have fresh peas, for example, but they're okay. So just have a bit more of this turkey, seeing as it is the main ingredient of this Christmas lunch. Yeah, putting the comparison to one side and just talking about what that tastes like, it's not really what you want to eat. It sticks in your teeth. It's really sticky. So when you bite it, as you release your jaw, it feels like the turkey's still stuck on the inside of your teeth. So I wouldn't want to finish that turkey. Not that great. I don't want to eat that extra pig in blanket. Not really worth it. The roast potatoes look good, bit disappointing, there's only 3 of them. The carrots are okay, peas, all right. Yorkshire pudding, not that great either. So let me put this away and let's talk about who has won in this challenge between Waitrose and Marks & Spencer for the Christmas meal for one. Okay, so what's my overall assessment of the Christmas meal for one offering for 2025 by both Waitrose and Marks & Spencer? Well, in terms of the direct comparison, you saw the 2 meals. They were pretty much identical. You got the same ingredients: roast potatoes, turkey, Yorkshire pudding, peas, carrots, and a little stuffing ball, and pigs in blankets. Now, they both came in at around about the same weight, slightly different in terms of the makeup. So Marks & Spencer had a smaller number of roast potatoes, but they were bigger. Each individual one was bigger than the smaller ones on the Waitrose dinner. And you also got 2 pigs in blankets with Marks & Spencer compared to 1 for Waitrose. So slightly different mix. So you can pick your poison in terms of what you prefer. If you really like pigs in blankets, then you should go for the M&S one because you get 2. If you like a lot of small roast potatoes, then go for the Waitrose one, just on appearances. But what about the taste? What did they taste like? Well, neither of them were that brilliant. But in comparative terms, I would say that the Marks and Spencer meal was better overall than the Waitrose one. On the Waitrose one, the turkey really wasn't very nice. The roast potatoes were small and overcooked and didn't have any really nice fluffy inside to them. There was only one pig in blanket. It wasn't that tasty. The Yorkshire pudding was a bit hard, a bit disappointing. The gravy wasn't that nice and the peas had all dried out. So there wasn't really much going for the Waitrose meal for one. In terms of the M&S meal for one, well, the turkey was better than it was at Waitrose, but it still wasn't really tasty. It wasn't like a Christmas dinner turkey that you've been thinking about for months on end before you get there. It isn't something actually that you'd probably want to finish the plate of. The roast potatoes were better than the Waitrose roast potatoes, but they still weren't great. They still had problems. They weren't very crispy on the outside. They didn't taste that great. Now, the gravy was all right. The gravy tasted quite good on the M&S one, better than the Waitrose one. The peas were better, but they still weren't amazing. The carrots were better, but still not that good. And the Yorkshire pudding, not great either. So overall, the winner, without a shadow of a doubt, is the Marks and Spencer one. It was more expensive. It's £6.75 I had to pay versus £6. Definitely worth it. If you're going to buy one of these meals for one for Christmas lunch, I would definitely say the Marks and Spencer one outscores the Waitrose one. But, and this is a big but, I don't think either of them were that great. They weren't something that I would want to eat again, for sure. I certainly wouldn't have them again. And in terms of Christmas lunch, well, unless you're really struggling, maybe it's just not feasible for you to cook something for yourself if you're on your own. It is a lot of work and effort, and obviously you can't buy a whole turkey if you're on your own. But I think there's probably other options. You could probably buy some pre-sliced turkey maybe from the store and heat it up as part of your dinner. You could make your own gravy. You could probably buy a little portion of roast potatoes from the store and just basically assemble it yourself rather than buying one of these. But what's my overall score for these two meals? Well, for the Waitrose roast turkey dinner, for one, it's not going to be a very Merry Christmas if you're having this on Christmas Day. Also, the sell-by date on my one is before the end of November, so it wouldn't last you until Christmas. You'd have to eat it now. So they're selling these in the stores now, so people are eating these Christmas meals for one now. I presume I've just eaten one. My score for this, I'm going to have to give it a bad 4 out of 10. It really wasn't very good. The Marks and Spencer one, it was better. It was definitely better, no question. Still wasn't good though. It's 5 out of 10 for the Marks and Spencer one. So in the challenge, Marks and Spencer beats Waitrose. However, neither of them are good enough for your Christmas lunch. If you're having Christmas lunch on your own, and I know a lot of people are, and it can be quite a sad time of the year if you're on your own at lunchtime, please don't have one of these because it'd probably make you even sadder if you're on your own. If you end up eating one of these for your lunch, you'd be better off having something completely different. Just have your favourite meal. Treat yourself to whatever you like for lunch. Don't waste your money on these because they're not that great. You won't be happy at the end of it. You won't feel like you've had a really nice festive Christmas lunch. You'll be looking at the plate thinking, have I really got to eat all of this? I don't think that anybody really wants to do that to themselves on Christmas Day. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Slightly different to my usual sort of food videos, but I thought I'd try something different. Experiment, that's what it's all about. If you don't try something, then you never know whether it will work or not. Thank you very much for watching this video all the way through to the end. Please give me a thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Please subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see you again on the next video.